Welcome to Nintendo K Channel. I am Danny. I'm really excited to be unboxing this Nintendo Switch, Nintendo 64 controller to play retro games in the modern day. This is how the package does come in. It's a plain looking brown box, nothing too fancy. It is inspected, and the barcode there, and around is just nothing to look at. All right, so I'm going to open this up, check out what's inside, and show you everything about the Nintendo 64 controller. All right. Opening up the flap. Oh, okay. So there is another protector in there. Really nice. And there you go. That is the Nintendo 64 controller for the Nintendo Switch. Really love the look. And it is a full-size controller after all. I do like the red color scheme here. If you had the NES controller or the Super NES controller for the Nintendo Switch Online service special offer, you know what to expect. Just look around the box here. Obviously, controller in front, Nintendo 64 controller on the bottom label, Nintendo Switch Online. On top, just the logo of Nintendo. On the side, nothing here. And on this side, nothing here. On the back, you do have some information. Obviously, they charge through a USB cable. I'll go through all the details in a bit, but this is how it looks from the back side. All right, so let's crack this open and check out. And there you have it. Pulling out the red box, and there is, look like, you pull this out, and on the bottom you have the USB cable. So just to talk about the cable, nothing too fancy. It is a USB-A to a USB Type-C connector, so you could use your existing chargers to charge the N64 controller. It is a rechargeable battery included, so nothing to buy extra from this. Now getting to the controller itself, really nice. And wow, okay. Right away, I'm feeling the buttons. It feels just like an original Nintendo 64 controller indeed. Start button, L and R. There's a top portion here. It does include a photo capture or a screenshot. Home button, a ZR button. Very interesting, right? This is the port where you charge the controller or connect it to your Nintendo Switch dock. You could play it wired or wireless, obviously, because of this. There's an L and R. At the bottom is a Z, and oh, this is interesting. Obviously, if you had the original Nintendo 64 controller, this is where you would put the rumble pack or controller pack memory card to store information. Unfortunately, this is filled in, so none of those old accessories will work. But I think there's other ways around it, I guess. In the game built-in function, just like for example, the rumble feature is built into the controller, so you don't need a rumble pack. And memory saving is through the Nintendo Switch console itself. So again, going through the buttons, the C buttons, feels just like it. It has a little clicky feel to it. And I do recognize how these feel. I've been playing the N64 since its original release as a much younger person. The directional pad, pretty sweet. And of course, most of you guys want to know, how does the analog stick feel? Ah, nice and tight. And it actually has a really nice authentic feel to it. So as a basic comparison, I do have my original Nintendo 64 controller from all years back. Side by side, you can see it is full size. And put the cable away. There is no more cable, obviously, because it is wireless now. And you can see it is one-to-one comparison. So if you were comfortable with the original, you will be okay with the new one. And now having the two analog sticks side by side, this is a perfectly well controlled analog stick, meaning like I've been using it well maintained and it's nice and tight. I would say this is a little bit tighter, but that's because this one's been used for quite a bit, playing through various games like Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Banjo-Kazooie, you name it. But I can say it's very comparable and feels really authentic to the original. Nice touch. I appreciate Nintendo went to the extra detail of keeping that original feel. So if you are a stickler for authenticity, this will be a good way to go. All right, so I'm gonna switch over gears and I'm gonna show you the controller with various games, see how it feels and how it plays. All right, let's have some fun. I have my Nintendo Switch OLED here and I'm gonna show you how you can connect this controller to your system. You would go to controller section, select that. You have change grip and order, go in there. And on the top of the Nintendo 64 controller, you press on this button here, hold it down, and it should have a light coming up. It goes left and right. You have an indicator. You notice that there's a sound that's paired, and you have a graphical image of the Nintendo N64 controller on your Nintendo Switch. So you back out. Now you can start using it. And I'll just pick the Nintendo 64 application. I'll be playing Mario 64, one of my favorites of all time. Get the feel for it. And wow, okay. Right away, I can do backward somersaults, long jumps. Let's see, I can do a long jump. There you go. Press BBB. Do an attack. You can crouch, move around like a baby. You can do a backflip. Everything works. The C buttons for the camera. Look up. Perfect. Oh my goodness. Yo, you back out the control with a down C button. And I could say this is really authentic. I love it. Oh my goodness. I haven't played with the N64 controller in years. And this is a fresh breath of air playing it. Oh, I'm sorry. I heard Mario. If you guys are wondering, it works very well. And I could say if you're, again, a stickler for authenticity, this is a good way to do it. If in terms of responsiveness, I do say it works very well. For the average person, you should be okay. Any kind of delay, I don't think it'd be a significant impact on your gameplay. So I booted up Mario Kart 64, one of my favorites of all time as well, playing as a kid with a group of friends, always fun. But just to demonstrate and to get a feel for it, I just load up the game, of course, and I go into racing right away. And holding down the A button, kind of move along, right? Obviously, if you want to start hopping, you press on the R button. You could do drifting. Wow. Okay, now this is the way to play. It feels just right at home. My goodness. And I do like that since this is a new Nintendo 64 controller, the analog stick is very tight, very new. In terms of durability, I really can't say because obviously this is from launch day, but I'm assuming that it should inherit more modern day controller designs, I guess internally. But right away, I would say nice feel to the playing this game with this controller. Last but not least, another one of my favorites is Star Fox 64. Love playing with the R-Wing and brings back good memories of going through and getting the high scores, all the medals, and find the shortcuts and everything. So let's see how it feels from here. All right, I'm doing a barrel roll, pressing the R button, the Z button as well. You could do on both sides, holding down the to charge and fire. Nice. Bomb. Woo! Doing some fancy moves. I'm not in all range mode, so I can't do the other one. So it's down C, down analog stick C button. Oh, Slippy always in trouble. Taking care of that. Let me see I get boost. Wow. Oh my goodness. Really authentic. I could do all the moves I can do back in the day. Really sweet. In summary, I think you will love the new Nintendo 64 compared to the original Nintendo 64 controller. If you haven't guessed it by now, I'm really giddy on getting to play a modern day console with this controller because obviously there's a lot of things that I love about the original. It is a little bit weird if you never grew up on this controller, but I grew up on Nintendo 64, and if you definitely did, you would feel everything about it is authentic as possible, except that there's new features that make it modern. Obviously, rumble, and there's a chargeable battery here. The form factor is exactly the same, pretty sweet. The buttons feel nice. The Z button, I didn't really mention too much about it, but I think it's a 1-to-1, so right home there. Even down to the screws, almost exactly in the same location, but same amount of screw holes. But that's how authentic it is. A little different here is obviously the port is gone for the new controller, but it's not really necessary. Rumble feature is built in, and then save feature is on the Nintendo Switch itself. So if you're getting this, I think you'll pleased with what you're getting. Also, last thing, if you're interested in playing this on the Nintendo Switch, Nintendo Switch Lite, or even Nintendo Switch OLED, which I did show on this episode, you'll be fine. They all work, so no fret about that. You just sync in like the way I showed you. If you enjoyed this episode, I do appreciate a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to Nintendo Cave for more episodes like this in the future. I am Danny, and I'll catch you again very soon.